Okay.
I'm Shadow.
And I'm Rowan.
Basically, what we're doing a video about is paganism. First, I just wanted to go off and say we're not here to convert people. If you're here to bash us, saying that we're here to drag people to hell and shit like that, we're not interested. We're not going to reply to your comments. There's no point in bashing, so please go away.
We're just here to tell you a little bit about our past and enlighten those who wish to learn.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start off with myself. I am just general pagan right now. Been trying to find my way for a little while. Just recently got into fairycraft and I kind of like it, but I haven't been able to really experiment with it, so I don't really know for sure. Take it away.
I'm Christo-pagan, so like he said, no bashing. But what it is I'm actually Catholic, but I'm also, my pagan roots is I'm actually have quite a bit of Native American blood in me. And through that Native American blood, I have the sixth sense of a shaman. And today, we're actually going to show you a little bit about my altar, that for this instance, we've actually combined both a shamanistic altar as well as a
Nordic
Wiccan or altar. And no, they're not the same.
No, I guess now that we're really talking about exactly what we believe, it's definitely not the same. Just to let you in, we've run through this a bit before and had to stop it a few times and, well, didn't go too well. But basically, being Nordic pagan, my goddess, this candle represents the goddess, the white one. It's Freya, and Freya is the goddess of love and war and crafts and music and things like that, also a goddess of magic. And my god, which would be represented by the red candle, is Odin. And Odin is basically a god of death in the underworld and also of rebirth. And that is basically what is representing my path on the altars, the god and goddess.
For me, what's represented from my faith, I actually have my different animal gods that you'll normally see, as well as some different wax figures, because I do use candle magic in my own rituals. And
I'm sorry, but the way I just look like that, it looks like a unicorn with a ring horn.
And you can tell he's very him. Shadow can be just a little bit crazy. But mine's wax, and each one of these has a little bit of emotional character with me, and I'm very sympathetic with flame, so that actually helps me out a lot.
Lots and lots of candles. But starting out, I guess we should just talk about the basics of how it works and why, because we don't want people coming out here and be like, oh, they're talking about magic. Well, magic isn't real. We want to explain how that works and how magic is not something crazy and fictional. It just depends on how you speak of it, and really even how you spell it. Magic, spelled M-A-G-I-C-K, is what we practice.
Yes.
And that is the real stuff where we use our own energies and energies from the universe and spirits and things like that to bend universal energies and receive whatever we will back onto us, as long as the universe deems us worthy, pretty much. Magic, spelled with only a C, is the stuff you see in Hollywood where people are shooting lights out of their fingers and blasting people with a
Magic with the C is Harry Potter.
Yeah, Magic with the C is Harry Potter. But basically how it works is everybody has life energy, and depending on where you look throughout mythologies, it's going to be called different things. You have prana and chi and things like that. But we use this energy, we send it out, we fill candles with it, we do things like that. We will charge an object, bury it, anything to release that energy into the universe. Whenever the universe gets that energy, it'll send it back out into our lives, so we'll receive whatever that energy was programmed towards. So if we do a money spell, we'll send out green abundance energy onto maybe a candle. We'll burn the candle down, the universe will receive it, maybe by us burying the wax, and then the energy will come back through cycle, and we will receive the money if we need it.
Or you can also do candle spell, which would actually just be, and you can even do this if you're not pagan. It's very where you just write down a simple wish, and then you light the candle and put it in a bowl to burn, and then you just give it back to the earth. If it's a windy day, just toss it out the door.
Yeah, the ashes. Don't.
The ashes, not the bowl.
Don't litter. But basically, that's magic. I mean, it's like people see it and they think bloody pentagrams and all this crazy stuff, and that's not how it works. It's a religion based off of respect and I guess taking responsibility for your actions. No one can. The bad part about this is I guess not a bad part, but one of the hard parts about paganism is that you can't simply ask for forgiveness, and for me at least, maybe this isn't true for everyone, especially Christian pagans and stuff like that who do believe in Jesus, but you can't simply ask for forgiveness for some horrible thing that you've done and just poof goes away. You have to deal with it on your own way, and there will be repercussions for it via karma and things like that, but you will not burn for eternity. There's nothing that horrible that's going to happen to you. That's the comforting part, is that I'm not going to have to die and go to some horrible place. That's what I really like about it.
Just because Christian pagan for each person is different. For me, like I said, mine's Native American. But some Christian pagans, Christian witches, if you will, in this case.
It's a little bit different, I guess.
It is. It's quite a little bit different.
Christian witches don't
actually acknowledge paganism. Christian witches will actually worship Jesus as their God and Mary as their goddess. Some of them. Not necessarily all of them.
Yeah. There are different sects and different people who practice on their own and discover different ways to do it.
One key thing about paganism is, and it's one rule that all beginners still have to learn, not just people who don't really know anything about the craft, is all witches are pagan, but not all pagans are witches.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And there are very few mild exceptions to that.
Yes.
Very, very few. Very, very few. And good luck finding them. There's actually one friend that I knew over Facebook that actually called herself a Jewitch. This is a Jewish person who practices witchcraft. This is one of the exceptions. But
on to our actual topic of what we were going today. To finish up, we're actually going to show you some of the aspects that are just the common materials that you use in Wicca.
Okay, so do you want to start off with the 4 basic tools? We can do that, or we can start off with the ones we have here. We can still describe it. We'll describe it in the end.
Yeah. Well, this is actually just a pendulum. And it can actually depend on how well you use it. You can actually answer questions. Everything from yes, no, or if you've ever seen Charmed, they actually do use a pendulum
to describe for
things.
Yeah.
And objects.
Using a map. But here, let me show you. Some people can even actually use it via telekinesis, which isn't that crazy. Especially with a pendulum. The pendulum is probably the easiest thing you can do it with, because it's just a matter of I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it or not.
One object that I do know that pendulums have actually been used when people don't have compasses on their phone, or they can actually use this to find magnetic north.
I think I'm moving my hand a little bit. I am very ADHD. Here you go. Oh, that's not it.
This is actually mine.
Yeah, probably another reason why it's not working too well for me.
I think you were trying to do.
Well, you just spin it. Yeah, she just kind of did it. I don't know if you could see it or not. It's where you just kind of spin it like. But while she's attempting to do that, I guess we can just move on.
Yeah.
We have a staff here, and staffs are pretty similar to things like swords and anathemes. and wands. They all pretty much have the same purposes, but they're all used in different rituals and used to symbolize different things. So let's say for one ritual you might use a staff to cast a circle, and it might symbolize you're worshiping a certain god who is the god of the staff. Well, for another one you might use the dagger, because it is something like Samhain, where you're trying to separate, cut a line between the two worlds.
Or you can actually have a wand, and I do have one of those, but I don't currently have one of them in here, that point out an element for someone to call, and you're in the circle.
And you just point it in the direction and call upon the element. So, but that's the staff, and its element is air, by the way. Every major tool has an element.
This is actually a cinnamon broom. You're going to hear me throughout this because I like referencing back to shows. If you ever saw Charmed, Phoebe Hallowell actually did do this when they traveled back in time.
I didn't know she knew about this episode.
Yes, she did.
We're learning things. But
that she actually was able to sweep in and use the natural magic of Samhain, of All Hallows Eve, for all of those who don't know, or Halloween. And you're actually able to sweep in the natural energy around you.
Yeah,
sweep
away
the negative energy.
The negative. I almost said positive. What's the point of that? Hopefully.
It's sweep in positive energy, sweep out the negative.
Yeah. And that's what you do. That. And you'd sweep inside of your circle or inside of your home, and you're going to want to sweep as much as you can. You're going to want to sweep sunwise, which is rise in the east, sets in the west, so east to west. That's an altar bell.
It is, and it's these are the really good ones are made of brass, like this one.
It's loud.
It is. You can find the smaller ones, but I like this one because it actually has an eagle on top of it.
Mine is about this big and is made of silver.
Most people do not have that big of an altar bell. I had a choice between that one and about 4 others, and I decided I like that one better.
Yeah. What else do we have here? This is technically a chalice, although you cannot drink out of it because it's got holes in it, mostly because it's, wasn't it like broken? Your wax is in here.
Yeah. It was, but I had actually was a dragon lid type thing that we were using as a doorstop, and I turned it into my pseudo chalice. You'll actually see this. What I actually have in here is when I really started getting back into the craft. I started off with candle spells. Well, this was actually very touching for me, was that my granddad died in September, and I was doing my best to where I was trying to keep him alive. Or if I couldn't do that, to do a guiding light spell. And this is actually the wax from the candle that burned that night. And as you kind of tell, it kind of burned into like a tree. So I liked it and I kept it.
But what the chalice does, element of water, and basically what you do with it is ones that are every ritual you're going to have, not every ritual, but most, you're going to have some form of drink that you're going to pass around throughout your coven, or what you're going to drink yourself and offer to the god and goddess at the end. And basically what happens, if you fill it up with wine, or if you're underage, please don't drink wine and get caught by the police.
If you're for the covens who do have underage members, such as Shadow here.
Get grape juice or something.
Grape juice,
something
milk,
like that.
Something like that.
Well, I don't like milk because it gets hot too easily. But especially in a circle with fire element. But grape juice is something that really can closely represent wine. You're gonna bless it with your athame, because what that represents is the chalice representing the goddess, and the athame represents, which we haven't talked about the athame yet.
We did. We kind of we talked about it with the staff.
Yeah. The athame is your ritual knife. You're going to dip your athame in, and that represents the goddess and the god's union, and that blesses your drink.
Unfortunately, I did not bring my athame into here with us.
I didn't. I should have remembered it. But basically what's going to happen is your high priestess is going to drink it. She's going to pass it along to the next person saying, may you never thirst. And this is going to go all around the coven till it gets to the high priest. Drink it. He's going to hand it back to the high priestess saying, may you never thirst. And they're going to offer the rest to the god and goddess.
And in case you're wondering, for our local coven between us, I'm actually the high priestess, and Thomas here is the high priest.
But yeah, meaning she's dominant over me. This is like mom.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I make sure Shadow here actually has a place to stay.
Only over the weekends. I'm not that homeless. Just a little homeless.
Just little.
Yeah. But that's pretty much all that we have in here. Let's really talk about the athame in depth, though. And basically, most people with an athame, they're going to have a black-handled, double-sided knife. And
For me, mine is actually a old utility knife that was actually my great-granddad's. And instead of it being double-sided knife, it's the utility knives that the military used to have, and it actually has two knives that pop up.
But basically, what the double side is going to represent is dual energies. Like you have the goddess and the god, masculine and feminine. I'm doing this. Dark and light. These kids are going crazy around me. Dark and light.
That's the curse of being in here with a fire element.
All of that stuff. But yeah, this one right here. But it's like blurring out my face. But that's what the two blades represent, is any dual energies you can think of. Sky and earth, anything. Just under, over, I don't know. But, and then what the black handle does is a lot of the times whenever you're banishing energies with that athame, using the banishing spell, using the banishing pentagram, you're taking in those negative energies into the night. Well, the reason we have the black handle, and the reason we have the black candle is because, the black handle is because black is really good at dispersing energies and making them harmless, pretty much. We don't want that negative energy still being in the air. The second one we had to blow now. This one.
Sorry.
But yeah, black is really good for dispersing energies, and we don't want that negative energies floating around. So you don't have to have one as long as you acknowledge this is what you're doing, but a lot of the times it just does help. Mine actually has a brown handle, but I have no freaking clue where it went. So maybe that's a sign that it wasn't.
One other utility that we do not have in here, mainly because mine has 4 legs and barks a lot, is a familiar. For me, my familiar is actually my 2-year-old brindle boxer pit mix.
Can we let him in here?
If he's out there, sure.
Don't know where he went.
Damon!
Come here, he's right there. He's on the bed.
Come on. He's never very far from me.
Come on.
Come here, baby.
Why is he rubbing on me?
He likes his Uncle Shadow.
He likes me too.
Can you go up?
Come on.
Nope,
know if you
he's
can
too
see
short.
him.
Here.
Come on.
Let's see. This is Damon.
He's like, put me down.
And
I'm traumatized.
we're pretty much in a very, very small room right now. So
yeah, here, I'll get him back out now they've seen him.
Yeah, but that is my familiar. And familiars don't just have to be dogs. They can be cats. They can be rabbits. They can be owls. I think Zakara's is actually a spider or a hamster. We're not sure. She's always collected animals, but I swear up and down that her goddess is Demeter.
Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't be too surprising. But thought she liked Hecate though.
Huh?
Didn't she like Hecate?
She does, but at the same time, you gotta remember that they were kind of intermingled. That's another thing. All the goddesses, you can go from any religion, anywhere, any
They're
time period.
They're really similar, pretty much.
They're very, very similar, especially with the Greeks and the Romans. Greeks and the Romans have a very bad habit of intermingling and just renaming the gods.
Even though that they technically were never supposed to be the same.
Exactly.
Like what was it? Where Venus was actually an earth goddess before she was ever a love goddess, the goddess of earth fertility and crops and things like that.
Also known as Aphrodite.
Yeah, not the same until people started trying to mush them together thanks to the romanticists and the
Disney.
Disney. Oh, evil Disney.
But from what we're not gonna bash Disney. But unfortunately, the Disney has actually been really good about keeping them. When they did Greeks, they did Greeks. When they did Roman, they did Roman.
Yeah.
Because you've had Jupiter. It's like Disney has actually combined them and told you which one was which one, and that was a very good thing. Like with Hades, they had Pluto.
Yeah.
And that type of stuff. But it's like that's actually originally that's where I got my first look into the craft at. And even Hollywood does have some aspects. Constantine is actually pretty good right on with it.
Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part.
You have to remember everything's going to dramatize because they do need viewers.
Exactly.
If they just watch people sitting and meditating and chanting and dancing around a fire naked, then...
That's closer to what actual witchcraft is.
Yeah, you don't have to be naked, but it's fun.
Some circles do go skyclad.
Yeah, which means...
Naked.
But, again, you don't have to, and if you do end up going to an open circle where they do practice skyclad, then you can tell them that you're uncomfortable and either take a step back and observe, or if you don't want to observe, you can just leave and say that it's not a disrespectful thing that you're going towards them or anything like that. You just start feeling uncomfortable. So
our circle does not go skyclad. We're very much not comfortable doing that. Though some of our members have been a part of other circles that have, and they enjoyed it. Mary.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool. I mean, I've never done it, so I don't know. There's actually one of my friends who can't disclose who they are, but they do work locally, and I did actually meet them there. It was kind of funny because she noticed my pentagram necklace. This cross is actually hers.
Yes, that is my cross. It's not demonic. It actually was a gift from my mother.
But my pentagram, I think I might have had a different one at the time, but...
Yeah, you had the one you burned.
It's another day.
He was going through an awkward phase.
It just lit on fire. We don't know. It's metal. But,
He was cleansing, and all we can figure out is a bad spirit was nearby. It was like...
Yeah, but, wearing my pentagram, and, so I was just... She started talking to me about mythology and stuff. So I was going in my head, well, maybe she's pagan. And she was like, so, is that a style choice, or are you actually Wiccan? So I was like, ha 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 ha. But, she really interested in Bastet, or Bast. And, she actually did go to one open circle. It was I think it was a Draco Wicca coven in our area, or maybe in Shreveport.
Shreveport.
Probably Shreveport. And it was basically a whole bunch of 40, 50-year-old men who just like to dance around naked.
Sounds about right.
A lot of people are freaking crazy. You have to be very, very selective whenever you pick your coven. You can't just jump into one. Which
is actually how we kind of met in the first place.
Yeah.
We had a local Wiccan meetup, and we kind of all decided we didn't really like it.
Yeah, so we did our own thing. And, it's, like I said, you just gotta be really picky. If you're not, then you're going to end up being with some people you really don't like. You might even stay being in an open circle for a month or two before you really decide, because these days you cannot tell who is friend or foe.
Or if you're like us, you could go from having 4 people to 2 people to back to 3 people, and just realize, okay, you got to actually learn how to be around each other and how much you can stand of each other. Because no matter what, people are always people, no matter what religion you are.
Yeah.
But for today, we're actually going to end this. I'm Rowan.
Shadow.
Eventually, we'll get a name that he actually likes.
Yeah, this is just kind of identity protection.
Ish.
Of course, some people might recognize me from apparently I have a fan page on Facebook. This is what I've been informed of, and it kind of embarrassed me. But she was like, yeah, your fans have been flocking around your page today, Thomas. Fail.
And eventually, in the coming months, you'll probably know it. You'll probably recognize me by a different name as well. I do acting on a couple of them background, and I'm actually running my own production company. Yay!
Kind of fun. But
we're gonna let y'all go for today. If y'all have anything that y'all would like to know about more in depth, please leave it in our comments below, and we'll do our best to concentrate on them next time. Bye!
See ya!